Hey everyone, good afternoon and happy Friday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Darrell Winninger from the Central Oregon Daily Weather Center, and we are getting ready for a big heating trend with no rain in sight. Now that means several things, including very dry conditions with still breezy afternoons several days out of the next 7. So fire weather danger is going to be on the rise. Now let's start off with what we're expecting across the high desert through the next few hours. Here's what's been happening today. We have tons of sunshine and there are a few clouds in a couple of our cameras. Now, there's no rain in sight, so we're not seeing much of that, just some thin, wispy clouds. A couple other cameras I want to focus on include cameras that were pointed at the Cougar Fire. Now, the Cougar Fire started a couple of days ago, got up to 293 acres overnight, and it has since been pretty quiet, and you could really see the activity from the wagon tire camera. It's not showing much. Hampton Butte looking in the same direction also, no smoke plume. It's not quite a wrap. We're still waiting for confirmation that there has been a lot of containment on this, but we're just not getting much word from officials. But that's okay because we don't see any activity. There was another fire that started yesterday afternoon, and this one is close to Oak Ridge, so State Highway 58, Willamette Pass. And as of yesterday, there were some road closures because of this, and ultimately there is still a series of evacuation zones, and it's 2 evacuation zones that are a level 3 go now evacuation because of this. And I'm just checking right now on Trip Check, and it looks like there is still, it's not closed going through the Willamette Pass from Willamette Pass all the way to Oak Ridge, but it is going pretty slow. And on Trip Check, it says an estimated delay of 20 minutes to 2 hours because of a wildfire in the area. So if you're headed over to Eugene, or if you're in Eugene and coming this way, you'll want to use Trip Check. Know before you go. Find the best route, and for many of us that might be Sandy Ann Pass. So again, the Aubrey Mountain Fire, it wasn't too big at last check. It was only 35 acres, and I accidentally just got out of the actual map from the OEM map, so I got to get back to it. And this is the state dashboard for wildfires, and it's at 35 acres right now. So it's something we're continuing to track, and across the rest of the Tri-County area, there are no evacuation zones in place from fires right now, just the one near Oak Ridge, and even the Steel Road fire closer to the Dalles last night, where you see that little flame above my head. There was a level 2 and a level 3, that it came down to a level 1 about 7:30 p.m., and right now there is nothing there. And across the rest of the state, that is the only place that has an evacuation notice, is right around Oak Ridge, and it's 2 different zones. One along Highway 58 or the Willamette Pass, and the other one is just to the north of the highway through Aubrey Mountain. Now, relative humidity is extremely low. These values are measured in percent, and we're looking at teens and 20s. The next couple of days, as we dry out even more, we're expecting lower RH. So with low relative humidity, low dew points, fire weather conditions become a top concern, especially with tons of sunshine and a lot of heating, drying out those surface fuels. Now currently our air quality is sitting in the green, both hourly average and those individual sensors from eSpace. But because of this heat stretch that's coming up, the National Weather Service has issued a series of heat-related weather alerts, as well as a red flag warning in down towards Medford, so Jackson County going further off to the west. But there's also a series of the heat-related weather alerts, and this did change from the National Weather Service. It used to be excessive heat watch and excessive heat warning. This year they changed it to extreme heat watch and extreme heat warning. So there's an extreme heat warning on the other side of the Cascades through the valley, where they're looking at getting into the triple digits and as high as 110. For the Tri-County area, our lower elevations could have temperatures well into the, we're going to be well into the mid to upper 90s, but some triple digits are expected in our lower elevations, mostly on Monday. So that's something we're tracking really closely. Let's get straight to temperature conditions, because here through the overnight hours we're falling back into the 50s with some 40s, so a little on the cool side. We could even see more 40s than 50s with a few 30s still possible. By Saturday we're topping out in the mid to upper 80s, so high temperatures continue to climb day by day. Here's why that's happening. There's a broad ridge of high pressure out over the Pacific Ocean, and that high it does have clockwise rotation, and it's just bringing in subsidence, and subsidence leads to heating, and heating paired with thermal advection coming over the Pacific Ocean is just going to keep those temperatures going up. So through Saturday, we're looking at a light breeze becoming breezy by the afternoon. Highs in the 80s and a few 90s, tons of sunshine. There will be some additional clouds with no rain. By Sunday, more sunshine than cloud cover by far. Highs in the 90s, and wind speeds aren't going to be as strong during the afternoon and evening, but they're still going to be there. So remember, tons of sunshine and heat dry out those surface fuels. By Monday, we're well into the mid to upper 90s with the potential of some triple digits. So we are bringing the heat to start the week, and still under this high pressure that's centered out over the Pacific Ocean and expanded through the Pacific Northwest. Very little cloud cover and no rain in sight. So temperatures are coming up from the lower to mid 80s, or really, lower to mid 80s today, through the mid to upper 80s, into the 90s, then into the mid to upper 90s with some triple digits by Monday. By Tuesday, our ridge of high pressure starts to flatten. It starts to weaken a little bit. That opens up the door for temperatures to start to come down. Now, some clouds are expected, but it's still going to be extremely dry. Now, satellite and radar shows that we have seen some clouds here through this afternoon, but no rain. And looking at the bigger picture, we're firmly under the influence of this broad ridge of high pressure that again is seeded out over the Pacific Ocean and stretched into the Pacific Northwest. That ridge axis, the center of rotation, comes closer to the coastline here through the next couple of days, and that leaves us in a position where we're just going to continue to heat up. Some clouds, no rain in sight. So there's a couple things we need to be focused on. Number one, heat and relief. I guess it's number 1 and 2. But with temperatures continuing to rise, you'll want to seek the shade, and you'll want to stay very hydrated. And if you can, seek the AC. Also, UV intensity is going up as well. But looking at the bigger picture, what we have is this broad ridge of high pressure that's slowly coming our way. So that means all of this activity way out over the Pacific Ocean is going to go around the periphery of our high pressure, so around the edge into BC of Canada. And so it's not even coming anywhere near us. We'll catch some in and out clouds off of it, but that's about it. No moisture, no precipitation at all. And that's through most of the 7-day planner. High temperatures in the last 24 hours, 80s, few 70s out there. Right here, right now, we're still in the 80s with some 70s. We have 76 in Sister, 75 in Sun River. Some of our higher elevations, Pine Mountain at 68, 75, the higher elevations of Maury Mountains. But those temperatures definitely warmed up, between 4 and 11 degrees warmer than we were just 24 hours ago. And I mentioned this earlier, but we're going to touch on it again. Remember to continue to track that UV intensity forecast. You can get it on several phone apps as well, but we're going to be in that very high range through the next several days. Now, it's very high. It's at a 9 today. It dips down to an 8 tomorrow, come back up to a 9 on Sunday, then we're at a 10 on Monday and Tuesday. What does that really mean? Well, it's a very high UV intensity forecast all the way through the next several days, even with these in and out clouds. And there's just no precipitation in sight. Here's your forecast model. It shows this high pressure over the Pacific Ocean. It also shows it expanded into the Pacific Northwest, and that high gets a lot closer day by day. So we're keeping it mostly clear. By Saturday, more clouds are expected. Now, this specific forecast model doesn't show much in the way of cloud cover, but other forecast models are showing more in and out clouds, still dry. By Sunday, back to more sunshine. By Monday, keeping that sunshine and keeping our heating trend. Monday is when the heating trend peaks. By Tuesday, some clouds, just not a lot of them. And when we go past that, when we continue to look forward with our long-range forecast model, less of the resolution, but it goes out further in time, and it helps us really paint a picture of what's happening through the rest of the 7-day planner. So Monday night going into Tuesday, not much happening. Tuesday, sunshine. Wednesday, sunshine. Very little cloud cover is expected until we hit Thursday and Friday. By Thursday, increasing clouds. By Friday, in and out clouds, but still no rain in sight. So our future precipitation map shows nothing. Even going out another day, nothing. And so with the lack of moisture and winds that are going to be breezy at times, that's when we turn our attention to fire weather conditions. In fact, we're going to pause real quick. I'm going to grab a little forecast model that helps us with fire weather conditions. And it's just going to paint a picture of when it's going to be at its worst. Today, we were low to moderate. By tomorrow, On Saturday, we see that pick up a little bit more and moderate risk of fire weather conditions. Once we start getting closer to orange, like around Warm Springs, getting up towards Antelope, that's where we have high fire weather risk, and it picks up even more by the time we get to Sunday and Monday. So that's something we're continuing to watch, and part of that has to do with the winds. Right now, not too bad, a light breeze. That's the gusts. Gusts are not getting high actual wind speeds, 2 to 12 miles per hour, and it's been like that through today. The next couple of hours getting a little breezy at times. By Saturday, 10 to 20 miles per hour, gusting at 30, starting during the mid-afternoon, going until sunset, and then by Sunday back down to 5 to 15 miles per hour. So for tonight, 50s and 40s expected. Saturday, we're getting into the weekend with 80s and some 90s on the map, and here is your 7-day planner. It shows continued heating through Monday. Remember that extreme heat watch, Sunday afternoon through Tuesday afternoon. I would not be surprised if that got upgraded to a warning. I actually think it will, and we could even get some heat advisories and other heat alerts across the high desert. We start to come back down Tuesday and Wednesday, and then back into the lower to mid 80s Thursday and Friday because that high pressure is flattening. So going forward, our weekend headlines include a very dry air mass with a big heating trend ahead, and PM breezes stay in the planner. Some clouds are expected, but no rain side and low relative humidity. Now looking past the 7-day planner, we're actually going to be closer to average for this time of the year. So roller coaster temperatures at that point, but still extremely dry conditions. So that's it, everybody. Join us in just a few minutes on ABC. It's actually at 5 and 11 on ABC and 6, 7, and 11 on CBS. Well, the latest headlines and the rest of your most reliable forecast. Here's one more look at those weather alerts, most of them in effect Sunday through Tuesday. Most of them are heat related. That's it. Y'all have a good evening.